I spend way too much time thinking about how a phrase that used to mean, have a biscuit, you've earned it, now means, here's a £340 candle. If you're someone who's ever bought something to feel better and ended up feeling worse an hour later, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if it helps you out. Here's the thing I want to get out of the way immediately, because this topic goes wrong in one specific way almost every time someone makes a video about it. This is not a video about how millennials and Gen Z are bad with money. It's not, put down the coffee and buy a house. I'm not going to do that, because that argument is lazy, it's condescending, and it's usually wrong. Housing got more expensive, wages didn't keep up, and no amount of skipped coffees closes that gap. If that's what you were expecting from this video, that's not what's happening here. What I actually want to talk about is something different and more interesting. There's an entire industry that has learned exactly how you feel on your worst days and has built a business model around turning that feeling into a sale. It's called treat yourself culture. It's worth billions of pounds in the UK alone, and it is very, very good at making a purchase feel like healing. You are not the problem in this video. You're the target. Let's talk about who's aiming and how. Let's start with the number, because it's bigger than you think. The average UK adult now spends around £2,650 a year on wellness. That's skincare, supplements, fitness apps, spa days, self-care products, the whole category. That's up 31% since 2019. Not adjusted for inflation, actually up in real spending terms. Add subscriptions. The average Brit pays for 2.8 of them at a combined £65.50 a month. That's £786 a year. And here's the bit that should genuinely worry you. Subscription spending has gone up 57% since 2022. Wages in the same period went up 18%. Your subscriptions are growing faster than your salary. If you're Gen Z specifically, it's worse. The average Gen Z subscription spend in the UK is £305 a month. That's not a typo. £305 every month on subscriptions alone. Roughly 3 times what Gen X spends. And then there's buy now, pay later. 73% of UK millennials and 65% of UK Gen Z have used it. Not heard of it, used it. Split their payment into installments, so the number at checkout felt smaller than it actually was. None of that is a coincidence. None of it happened because an entire generation suddenly became worse at managing money than every generation before it. It happened because an industry got extremely good at its job, and its job is making you spend the moment you feel bad. Let's actually break down the mechanism, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. 1. The language shift. Go back 20 years and adverts said, buy this. Now they say, treat yourself. That's not a stylistic choice, it's a permission structure. Buy this asks you to spend money. Treat yourself tells you that you deserve it, which reframes the purchase as something you're owed rather than something you're choosing. Once spending becomes a form of self-respect, refusing to spend starts to feel like self-neglect. That's the whole trick. They didn't change the product. They changed what saying no to it means about you. 2. The checkout moment. This is where buy now, pay later does its actual work. The genius of buy now, pay later isn't the interest-free installments, it's that it removes the moment of pain. Normally, seeing £120 at checkout triggers a small flinch. That flinch is useful. It's the bit of your brain doing the maths on whether this is worth it. Buy now, pay later replaces £120 with 4 payments of £30, and that flinch mostly disappears. You're paying the same amount, you're just no longer feeling it in the moment that would have stopped you. 3. The subscription model. Here's why so many treats have become subscriptions rather than one-off purchases. A one-off purchase gives you a moment of pleasure, and then it's over. You have to decide again next time whether it's worth it. A subscription removes that decision entirely. The treat becomes automatic, recurring. It arrives whether or not you're actually still enjoying it, because the business already has your card details and your standing permission. From the company's side, that's not a treat anymore. That's a fixed, predictable, recurring piece of your income, locked in indefinitely, which is exactly why subscription businesses are worth more to investors than one-off retailers. You're not the customer buying a treat, you're the asset generating monthly revenue. 4. The self-care rebrand. This is the one that actually makes me a bit angry, so bear with me. Self-care is a real, useful concept. It came out of genuine mental health and medical discourse. The idea that looking after your basic physical and emotional needs isn't selfish, it's necessary. That's a good idea. And somewhere in the last decade, an entire marketing industry took that phrase and pointed it at a £340 candle. Skincare brands, subscription boxes, wellness retreats. They didn't invent a new idea. They borrowed the moral weight of an old one and attached it to their product. So now when you buy something impulsively, you're not just shopping, you're taking care of yourself. The guilt that would normally slow you down has been preemptively disarmed by the marketing copy. 4 mechanisms: language, checkout friction, business model, and borrowed moral weight. None of them is about you being weak-willed. All of them are specifically engineered, tested, and refined by people whose entire job is making them work. Here's the part that matters most, and it's the part that gets left out of every "just stop buying things" video. This isn't evenly distributed. The targeting gets more aggressive the more stressed you are, not less. Economically stressed people are measurably more receptive to emotional relief marketing. It's a documented pattern in consumer psychology, and it's exactly why treat-yourself marketing surged during a decade of stagnant wages and record-high rent. The industry isn't targeting people who are thriving and have spare cash. It's targeting people who are exhausted, worried about money, and looking for 5 minutes of relief. The worse things get economically for a generation, the more receptive that generation becomes to being told that a purchase is what they need. That's not a coincidence either. That's the business model working as intended. And I want to be careful here, because there's a difference between two things that look similar from the outside. The £4 coffee that gets you through a genuinely hard Tuesday. That's not what this video is about. That's a small, bounded, conscious choice, and it's fine. What this video is about is the £340 candle you don't remember buying, the subscription box you've been paying for since March and haven't opened since April, the buy now, pay later installments stacking up quietly across 4 different apps until you genuinely don't know what you owe. One of those is a treat. The other is a system extracting money from you while dressed up as one. Let's put a number on it, because the abstract version of this argument doesn't stick and the concrete version does. Say your combined treat spend, subscriptions you don't use, impulse buys, the wellness industry stuff, the odd buy now, pay later splurge, comes to £150 a month. Genuinely not an extreme number based on the averages we just walked through. If you put that same £150 a month into a global tracker fund instead, at a long-run average of around 8% a year, for 20 years, you'd have about £87,000. In today's money, adjusting for inflation, that's roughly £48,000. £48,000 from money you were already spending. Not extra money you don't have, the same money redirected. I'm not telling you to redirect all of it. That's not realistic, and it's not the point of this video. I'm telling you the number so that the next time an advert tells you that you deserve this, you at least know what this is actually costing you in the version of your life that doesn't have it. 2 things before we close. First, this isn't a call to stop enjoying things. Depriving yourself of every small pleasure isn't a personality trait to aspire to, and a life with 0 treats isn't a healthier life. It's just a more joyless one. The point was never treat yourself. The point is noticing the difference between a treat you chose and a treat you were engineered into. Second, if you're on a genuinely tight income and treat yourself spending is part of how you're getting through, I'm not judging that. Stress makes people reach for relief, and reaching for a small relief when you're exhausted is human, not a character flaw. What I want is for you to at least know that the reach is being watched, measured, and monetized by people who understand your exhaustion better than you might realize. Knowing that doesn't fix your bank balance, but it does mean the next purchase is a choice you made, not a trigger someone else pulled. Here's the thing I actually want you to leave with. You're not lazy. You're not bad with money. You're not the generation that ruined its own finances by wanting nice things. You're being extracted from by an industry that got extremely good at making buying feel like healing. The version of you that stops isn't depriving itself. It's just no longer profitable to strangers who never had your interests in mind to begin with. That's not a smaller life. That's a life where the £150 a month goes towards something that's actually yours in 20 years, instead of toward a subscription you forgot to cancel. Notice the trigger. Question the "you deserve this." And when you do treat yourself, actually mean it. That's it. So here's what I want to know in the comments. What's the subscription or treat purchase you finally noticed you didn't need? The one where you actually caught yourself. I want to hear the specific moment it clicked for you, because recognizing the pattern is the whole first step. If this helped, hit like and subscribe if you're not already. Proper Pence puts out UK-focused personal finance videos every week, all with real UK numbers. See you in the next one.